All right, that's a look around downtown Reno. Winter here in the biggest little city, even though I guess still it is technically fall, but temperatures in the 30s this week. For those of you who live in Vegas, I'm definitely a bit jealous, but still happy with the way the Vegas Golden Knights are playing though, we'll say that. Anyway, we don't really see much vlogging from downtown Reno, though that will probably soon change. There is a poker game here at the Silver Legacy. They renovated their room a little over a year ago, and steadily they've been getting more and more games. Now, generally they've just been 1, 2, and 3, 6, with the occasional 7-card stud game mixed in, and I do want to get a hand vlogged from a live 7-card stud game. I've never played a hand of live stud in my life. That is on the to-do list, and there have been 3-5 games on Friday and Saturday nights here occasionally in the Silver Legacy, so expect me to be in one of those here shortly. But until that happens, we're back to the place we normally go for some cash game action. Probably the most snow we've got in a while here in Reno. Here at the Atlantis for what hopes to be a decent 3-5 game here on Thursday. I'll let you know how it goes. You know, it just occurred to me that given the fact that this place is called the Atlantis, I would hope there'd be more fish than there are. Anyway, so it ended up being a really good game here today, despite the fact that the game was almost entirely composed of OMCs. And that was mainly due to one particular opponent in the game, 2 later on in the game. But first hand, it's kind of indicative, and again, I have said this before, I will play a wider range of hands when the game is good, trying to get in some of these good spots against the appropriate opponents. So this was an example of that, where I opened Queen Jack offsuit in middle position. The cutoff is this aggressive player that I'm talking about. He makes the call, and both blinds call. And the flop comes out Queen 9-6 with 1 heart. I bet 60, and the cutoff makes the call. Turn comes the 8 of hearts. I check. The cutoff bets 125. I make the call, and the river comes the 10 of hearts, completing a backdoor flush. I check again, and the cutoff bets 400. This is a guy definitely capable of making a move. I've certainly seen it before. It seems fairly likely that this would be a good card for him to represent. And given the fact that he called my flop bet, it's going to be pretty tough for him to have too many combinations of backdoor hearts here anyway. But mainly it's the history against him that I have going for me here. So I make the call, and he says, King high. Shows the King 6 of clubs. So I pick up a nice one there. I open pocket aces under the gun, the low jack calls, as does the same guy I was just talking about make the call in the hijack. Flop comes Queen 5-7 rainbow. I'm definitely gonna bet here. The question is just how much. I decide on a bet of $75. The low jack folds and the hijack makes the call. Turn comes an 8. I'm definitely still gonna be betting. I make it 125, and the hijack makes it 300. This is the guy that just bluffed me. And as is often the case, if you call someone's bluff, or if you fold the big hand to someone, often the very next time you're in a decision with them, it'll be the opposite thing. There are several reasons here why I definitely felt that he had me beat. He'd play any combination of 2 pairs that got there, certainly 7-8 or 5-8 or even Queen 8. These are all hands he could have, but I also thought there were a number of straights he could have. And I didn't feel, more importantly, I just didn't feel he'd be bluffing me again. He just bluffed me. Is he gonna come right back after me? So I hesitantly make the fold of pocket aces, and he does show me a straight. He has 4-6 offsuit, so a good fold there. One of the most interesting hands came shortly after that. We get another action player in the game, as well as the one that's already been there. And I'm under the gun +1 with ace-jack of hearts. I make it 20, and sure enough, everyone else folds, but both of these two action players make the call. Not a shock, right? Flop comes ace-queen 4 with a 1 heart. Big blind checks, and for several reasons, which I'm not going to go into now, because as you saw in the last vlog, there are a lot of people that play poker in town now that watch this vlog, and some things I just don't want to give up. So I decided to make a check here. The button checks as well. Turn comes the 7 of diamonds. Big blind checks. I bet 50, and the button calls. Or river, that is, comes the 3 of hearts. I'm still feeling very confident in ace-jack here against this particular opponent, so I'm going to make a value bet. I value bet 75. He thinks about it for what seemed like a reasonable amount of time before ultimately saying 600. This is the same guy that bluffed me earlier that I called. And then when I made the fold of pocket aces, he showed that he wasn't bluffing. So where are we at now? I was torn. Honestly, I tanked on this for a while, especially given the fact that I checked the flop. I thought it showed some weakness. But ultimately, I settle on a fold, and he shows a deuce. So if he had me, it wasn't with 5-6 like I feared, but it was with 5-deuce. Not sure about that one though, but it doesn't seem like there's too many hands you could have with a deuce in them that he would show up with on the river there to bluff me with. By the way, that restaurant that you see there, Bistro Napa, here at the Atlantis. Wanting to find a good place for happy hour and for a nice meal, I'd recommend that. Calamari steak, pretty damn good. So a cash out of $1,408. That's a $408 win. Definitely could have been more if I didn't mess up a hand towards the end, but for the most part, pretty happy with the way that I played and pretty happy with the quality of the game here on a Thursday at the Atlantis. As always, thanks for joining me. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my vlog and follow me on Instagram at Ben Deach, and I'll see you next time. One other thing I wanted to throw into this vlog was a story that I'm doing for Colo 8 at Harrah's Reno. They've converted their entire second tower, it seems, into a place targeting younger people. Now this is something I've seen at the Encore down there in Vegas, a little bit across from the poker room, but here at Harrah's, take a look at some of the video that we shot. They have a sports book still there, obviously, but they have an arcade that's a 21 and over arcade. It's a massive amount of video games. And they also have beer pong. I think it's actually where the old poker room was here at Harrah's. It's been closed for many years now, but they have a whole bunch of beer pong tables, and they have a theater that's basically just for UFC fights. You pay to get in, obviously, but they have food, and you can watch it as a group. So if you're interested in UFC, Harrah's Reno apparently is the place to be. Those are the things I'm doing for a feature on Colo 8 News Now.